Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the big old spinning world of chaos and madness and craziness in 2021. My name is Jade and this is How To App on iOS. It's Friday here in Australia. We live in the future. You live in the past. Deal with it. We've got a fantastic artist on the show today. We're going to kick off with one of his tracks. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the wonderful, make sure I've got the right track on here. This is his new single, and it is called My Rules.
For you, I'm breaking all my rules.
That's not a carrot, folks. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? I asked for a carrot. No carrot love, you crazy people. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's Friday here in Australia, Thursday for the rest of you in the rest of the world. My name's Jade. Welcome to How to App on iOS. If you're watching on Facebook, you can leave us chats as well. Or you can also jump over to howtoapponios.com and you can watch the show live there also. Let's give a big shout out to people in the chat before we jump in and say hello to our very special guest today. Hello to, here we go, take a deep breath. SM Borthwick, Russ, Dean Thomas, Cold Acre, the naughty boy. Doctor's orders. Paying dear get. And Joey Helpish, Guzzo of Oz. Who else is here as I scroll down the list? Tom Rochelle, Pete Johns. Thank you very much to my kind mods who are here this morning and as they are nearly every day of the week. Who else as I scroll down very quickly with my pathetic eyesight? Jessica Jan is here as well. Danny Broderick. Clearly Epic's here. How epic is that, yeah? Had to buck the system, didn't you, Clearly Epic, and not put a carrot in the chat. Did I say Russ? Russ is here. Daryl's here. Gary Hubbs is here saying hello to everybody. I'm looking over to the side because I'm running through the list to make sure I try and capture as many people as I can get before I go on. It's getting increasingly harder each day. Skies Watcher is here also. Hello to you. Thomas Gillane. Welcome. Thomas Gillane's going to send me one of his new tracks soon to have a listen to. I'm very excited about that. Lady Rhodaline Straight is here too. Happy to see you too. And we've got some carrot love finally. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the carrot love. Did I say Joey Helpish? I saw Joey Helpish there as well. Deep Gravity. Hi, Cam. Good to see you. Everybody, welcome to the show. So, we have got a very special guest today. Somebody who I've known for probably about 3 years now. I think I first came across this particular artist on the GarageBand users group. If you're not a part of that, well, what the hell are you doing, man? Get the hell over there, because it's a really cool place to be. Lots of really cool artists like this particular person who, can I say, has grown immensely over the time that I have known him. His music has just got better and better from strength to strength. I give to you all the way today from Calcutta, EDM, electronic artist. I don't know what you would call him. I'll let him define himself because I hate defining people and putting people in boxes. That really sucks. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Pinaki Deb. Hey, Pinaki, how's things going? Have you...
Cool.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
What time is it over there in Calcutta right now?
Oh no. It's sleeping time.
Sleeping time. You want to be a little bit more... Pinaki's been so kind to come on today at this ungodly hour of, 2:30 a.m.?
In Calcutta, everyone is in deep sleep right now.
So thank you very much for doing that. It's very kind of you.
I'm so excited.
I want to let's ask straight off the bat. So that's your new single, yeah? That we just, or is there a newer one? No, that's your new single. That's a new video because I've seen the singles just dropped on Apple Music. Yeah.
Yeah.
First song for 2021.
Yes, this is the latest one.
And I'm going to ask straight off the bat, what does music mean to you, Pinaki?
Yeah. So I have been thinking about this answer for almost throughout the day. And I think a lot of people who have come up on this show has given phenomenal answers. I don't want to be very sounding same, but like a stereotype. But obviously I will be nearby to everyone in a way that music really makes sense for artists like us, for searching sanctity in their life. I personally feel that for me, music brings a really smooth balance among all the undulations and disturbances in my life. and it puts me in a place where I am peaceful, and it sometimes it gives me immense power, energy, and really a different perspective of life. So I would say that it's kind of a strength drug for me, and especially when I'm able to make my own music, that is like an overdose. I am an avid listener of electronic music. I have been listening to music since my early days, and it has always gave me a sense of uplifting. But when I was able to make my own music, when I started acquiring that knowledge, it was more of a revelation to me. So that is what music is to me, and it will always be like a true image of myself, like a true reflection, which I can how this is how I can express myself to the world, that who I am inside.
Totally. So when you were growing up I always find questions like this interesting for people, in living in India like yourself compared to me living in a Western world. What was the kind of music that was played in your household as you were growing up?
Yeah, it's very interesting to answer that question because uh, first of all, I would like to say that culturally, I am a Bengali. Bengali is a ethnic community belonging to the eastern parts of India. So we have a very rich heritage of our cultural folk songs, our heritage musical background, which is mostly classical. But my dad had a particular interest into disco, and he used to listen to a lot of 70s, 80s pop and disco music at that time, and like namely Bonnie M, like ABBA. So I grew up listening to Bonnie M, ABBA, Michael Jackson, uh, and slowly, as my dad grew older, his tastes from Western music went back to Indian
Wow.
classical, and I took up his place.
Right.
So with age, the taste of music changes here. So I don't know what is going to happen to me, but I have taken up electronic music to a different uh, level of acceptance in my
Mm-hmm.
family. So once I started to listening to electronic music, and I discovered more and more artists. At that time in Calcutta, CDs were not available, so we had cassettes. And then when the CDs came, we I used to buy CDs a lot. And when the streaming services came in, things became much more easier to find the artists. So slowly, the database and the playlist which I used to listen to increased, and that's how my interest grew, and I was introduced to the Western music culture. And not only Western, I also listen to Asian music as well, because some of the Asian music also they have uh, some similarity to Western music as well. But mostly electronic music is my core interest right now, compared to what I used to hear like 20 years back. And but my household music scene is different right now, and mostly in Calcutta, the electronic music and Western music culture has been there for a long time, but in domestic scenario, it is not that acceptable. So as I mentioned before in a different forum, that I have been like an outcast.
Join the club, mate.
So yeah, so so I know how it feels. So but it's my passion. I never used to play out loud my electronic music, whatever I used to hear, because people do not understand what they don't want to understand. So it was my own personal space. So like uh, listening to a Walkman with the headphones on, and getting lost in that music was my own personal time. But now I really play out loud. I have a huge music system. I play out loud.
Good. So you mentioned growing up listening to cassettes, and had Dan Baker on the show last week, and we were talking about how music. I don't know if what I want to ask is. So a lot of music here is heading back to vinyl and cassettes. Is this happening over in India as well?
Yes. Not cassettes
yet.
yet, but yes, vinyls, because we have a local manufacturer, only one single manufacturer in India, based out of Delhi, and he is manufacturing vinyls. He has started manufacturing vinyls, but those are very expensive. And even I checked out prices of manufacturers in Europe. Those are also pretty expensive compared to these ones. But cassettes, I think it will take some time to come back, because there were some trade-offs while using cassettes, that the unnecessary winding of the tapes inside the machines, and it getting stuck, and cleaning of the head, and pushing up the buffers inside the cassettes. Those were really troublesome days. I wish they never come back, frankly speaking.
So for those of you who don't know what a cassette is, I think we're talking gobbledygook here. Let me I'm just reaching under my desk here. Here we go. So here is a cassette. This is a cassette from my first band I played in. Here's one of my band's demo tapes, which I still have. So that is a glorious cassette in all its amazing glory there. And back in the day, we used to have to print out our artwork for demo tapes using a photocopier and a cassette. I collect all this stuff. I'm quite weird like that. It's amazing to me that they're coming back into cassettes are coming back, especially because I find the quality on them to be absolute crap.
Yeah, but vinyls are better, because I even had vinyls. I had a vinyl player way back, but I'm planning to buy another one, because vinyls are coming back in India. Even the old vinyls are still available for sale, and those qualities were outstanding.
And vinyl used to be a massive part of the whole electronic scene. Yeah. I mean, 12 inches were the thing. That was, back when record shops really were the thing. Without 12 inches in record shops back then, the electronic music scene really probably wouldn't have been able to take off as fast as it could. Because I remember we had a store here in Victoria. I can't think of the name at the moment, but it was always full of people like flicking through 12 inches, especially for DJs, anybody doing electronic music. But the digital scene has really changed that. I think it's really healthy that we're going back to vinyl. I love the whole vinyl presentation.
Same here.
It's a beautiful thing. What was the first album that you purchased or had purchased for you, and what format was it on?
It was a cassette. I think it was a Backstreet Boys cassette.
Backstreet Boys, all right.
All right. I was a huge fan.
Yeah, of course. Have they had an influence on your music?
Not really.
It's interesting that a lot of people whose first album that they actually had purchased for them never really is an influence going forward to their music. And I'm not saying that you don't like them still, but I find out about my music. A lot of people I've had on the show, that has been the case. Not all, but some.
We evolve.
Do you still? So, have you got an extensive Backstreet Boys collection since that? And was it given to you, or did you purchase it? Did you have to?
I purchased
it. Scrape together your money to get it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I used to save my pocket money, and go to the cassette store and search for the ones that is those are new on the rack, and pick one, because that's what I could afford at that time. So one at a time, one every month. And then the CDs came in. CDs started becoming expensive. So I remember I switched to CDs because I found those qualities better, and they were convenient to play. but the first very influential cassette uh, for me that really inspired me for electronic music was Behind the Sun by
Yeah, cool.
Chicane. Uh, Chicane, many of you might be knowing him by the name of Nick Bracegirdle. So he was I think he's a big friend, he's a very good friend of Brian Adams. So that album was really inspirational and one of my gateways to the electronic music uh, department.
When I was young, my grandma used to live out the back. We had a little flat for her, and she couldn't walk very well. And she had a little toilet, a portable potty in a little garage. And I used to go and empty it for her once a month and put chemicals in it to keep it, cool. And she'd pay me $15 a week to clean her toilet so I could go and buy records. And that's how my entire record collection. So I basically had to clean shit to get as many albums as I could, and it was worth every second of it because my record collection was
Yeah,
massive. Um,
yeah, I still have my cassettes as well. Two full boxes of
yeah, same
cassettes.
here. I've got a whole box under here too. I'm a bit of a hoarder with cassettes because you never know, like when they're going to come in handy. I have a lot of 4-track things, so I keep thinking I'm going to be able to afford a Tascam 4-track second hand, but
Yeah,
that's becoming a larger dream. Yeah.
but basically they are eternal.
Do they last? That's the thing. I'm scared that I'm going to put them in my tape because I just recently bought one of those little cassette players that goes to your computer, and a few of them I put in there and they were sounding like they weren't sounding very good, man. So I hope they're eternal. Well, the ones I like anyway. So before you found GarageBand as a recording tool, was there any other doors or any other kind of things that you were creating music on? So GarageBand was the first
None.
thing that you got into.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
In 2017, end of 2017.
So not much longer before I'd actually met you. I think it was probably 2018. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
so you started work on GarageBand on iOS only or Mac?
iOS only. My story is very unique. My musical journey, the beginning, the inception is
Do
very unique,
tell.
very strange.
That's what I'm here for. Tell me how strange.
So, like typical Bengali family, everyone gets sent to some kind of musical training
Yep.
classes, maybe vocals or maybe instrumental. So I was also sent over to a teacher for uh, getting trained for vocals, classicals. So I learned for like a year, and then I participated in a school competition, and I won the first prize for a song which I sang on the stage. My first public appearance, like a appearance in front of a crowd. Then I stopped because then I had to get into sports and other things. So music was just one accessory. Then college, no music, studies, then job, being a professional, and then stress, then health issues, then a lot of things, the parts of life,
Yep.
money, pressure, workload, time, work-life balance, everything came into play, and music just got cut
Right.
away. And then I had a small iPhone back then in 2016. It was an iPhone 5s, and it happened to have GarageBand onto it. And I always thought that this is some kind of a musical app for the children to play with. And I one day opened it and I saw that it has got drums. I started playing and hitting the pads, and I see the audio quality is good. So I put on my earphones and I started playing. I see the audio quality is really good. It sounds like a real drum. how can it be? Because I'm an avid Android user, and have an iPhone also, and it has got drums inside a phone, and that was unbelievable. And I was a huge fan of drum players. I used to be fascinated by people who are playing, hitting the pads and doing a roll. So I thought that let's upgrade to an iPad,
Of course.
spend some time with the drums, and just have some fun. So I bought an iPad, and I started hitting the pads. I started making some noise, and I was having fun. And then suddenly I realized I actually was not so much aware that there was a GBU group, or there were GarageBand training sessions on YouTube. Dan Baker was there. Didn't know at that time, because I did not have much time to look into YouTube at that time. I was very busy with my work life, so I was in a very imbalanced situation. I cut off all my hobbies, and I was not into any recreations. Totally focused on work, 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 like that. So life was a hell. So I realized that you can put a track into this application, and I didn't even know what is a DAW. So I realized that you can put a track in that, and you can keep on adding tracks, and you can find more instruments inside. Then I started finding synths inside. Then I started learning how to extend the tracks, how you can make a full length song inside it, how you can record your own vocals, and I was fascinated. The fascination kept on growing, and it's still growing. And then after that, you know the entire story. And I started composing, I started mixing, and I started writing. I used to write poetry when I was in school. A lot of my poems are lost now. I don't have those copies anymore. But I used to write a lot, and I started writing my own songs, and I started singing onto them. Though I'm not a very good vocal artist, but I started singing onto them. Who's stopping me? It's my song. Yeah. So I started singing. Whoever likes, whoever doesn't like, I take every feedback. I try to improve myself, and then I came to know how you can collaborate with artists, and that was again a breakthrough. And now that also a big shout out to Martina for this new song, My Rules. She's an amazing singer. I found her on GBU as well, and this is how I am trying to develop my music, and trying to express my thoughts and my vision. Because now even in my sleep I'm composing. My wife says that. So
You are a very hard-working creator. You create a lot of music.
I found a new life, frankly speaking.
On this channel, we tend to talk a lot about health and stuff, and I try to include mental health and that kind of stuff. You mentioned in your story there how the stress of work and what was going on in your life. Since finding GarageBand, I'm gathering that how has this impacted on some of those struggles that you were dealing with?
Yeah, I was quite heavy. I was overweight. I was highly obese. I had no particular diet plan. I had no routine exercises. I only used to sit in front of my laptop, work the entire day. No running, no walking, no eating on time, eating heavy lunches, heavy breakfast, whatever I like, eating crap, eating sodas, drinking sodas. So, but this new creativity brought in a discipline in my life. It gave me a new vision for a healthy lifestyle, and now I'm able to manage a lot of things. So I was not able to manage time. Now I'm able to manage, and I think the entire credit goes to this GarageBand, because I don't want to use any other DAW, because I'm tremendously happy with what GarageBand can do. I think I'm just about 25% running capacity with GarageBand. I think I'm running at only 25% of what it
Yeah,
can
yeah.
does. Uh, yeah, so there are much more to be done. And in fact, today there was a discussion on GBU that this optimizing performance issue is really hitting hard. And lately, I haven't been. I want to share this in this particular platform because it's the right time to share. I have been having these problems for a long time, but last few months I'm not having this optimizing performance issue, though I'm composing heavy tracks with heavy instruments. But with a lot of instrument tracks that are going in one track, I'm not facing that problem. Maybe it is because that I have stopped using a lot of third-party
Yep.
plugins. I have discovered that inside GarageBand, whatever they have given us by default, those are very nicely designed to give us whatever effects and whatever additional advantages that we can have. And I believe, as of now, I believe those are sufficient for putting up professional quality tracks out there. The only thing I feel that is lagging is the mastering application. Though it could be mastered, I have seen Pete's videos. They are really intuitive, and but still, GarageBand is not something that is meant for me. It's not meant for mastering completely because for mastering, I think particularly we need that LUFS
Yeah.
meter. I use Final Touch for mastering, but it doesn't have an LUFS meter, but it gives the RMS value, which is almost as good as the LUFS
That's close
reading.
enough for now.
So yeah, that's close enough. So when I play the track on Final this app, I observe the RMS continuously, and I check if it's hitting the red line, and if it does, I decrease the input volume. That's how I think everyone does it. So that's a way to keep the cushion for mastering for the Spotify or Apple guys, so they can have some headroom to do a final compression. I think the RMS value is fine, so Final Touch is good for me. I have tried another app, but Final Touch has got very good presets. It saves a lot of time, particularly for me. But apart from that, GarageBand has got everything that we need. As an electronic artist, I think it has got everything that we need
You
right
make a
now.
really solid points there, and it's something that I struggle with doing show on apps because I look at a lot of third-party apps, and you are right. And look, we all know that Apple provide tools for us to create music and provide tools to make many other things, but especially when it's something made from Apple, they do want you to use what's provided in their phone, in their iPad, in their actual app. Their products like GarageBand aren't really. You can add third-party apps and plugins, but they want you to work within their ecosystem with what they're providing you. So and I don't get a lot of the optimizing performance either myself. But it's hard to convey to a lot of people when you're looking at apps each day to use less is more. Like it's great to have all these fantastic third-party apps, but to use them really minimalist at a small amount. And if you are you're going to use several tracks using third-party plugins, set them up, know your parts, get your parts down, and then bounce them to audio tracks and save up that space as fast as you can. And
Exactly.
then go back and use the rest of the GarageBand tracks, which are absolutely brilliant for making commercial music, for making whatever music you want. So all the tools are there. I'm guilty of using third-party plugins. The other thing that I want to recommend to people is if you've got a device that only has 2 gigabytes spare, you're going to run against optimizing performance. If you have a 64 gigabyte and you only have a 64 gigabyte device, make sure you've at least got 10 gig free, at least, to make music, and continually clean out space and dump stuff you don't need onto an external hard drive. You can do that now, you know, and you won't face optimizing performance anywhere near as much. It'll be less frustrating for you. So I think the one thing
I have,
yes.
I beg pardon. I have one more like a point of advice which I'm currently doing a lot, is if I'm okay with the mix with the instrumental tracks, I merge them, import them to a different, because once you merge they create a copy.
Yep.
So once the tracks are merged, after that on the merged track I add the vocal tracks separately on the other file, so and delete the previous one. So in that way I am able to save a lot of space. And once I merge the tracks, the GarageBand automatically applies the normalization. So if there are some little flaws in the mixing, I have noticed that it gets taken care of.
Yeah. And there's other tips and tricks too that people forget. I mean, Apple have created this fantastic what's it called? Where you can actually dump. I'm jumping into have a look. I just can't think of what it's called. iPad storage. What's it called? It's not handoff. Offload apps. So I mean, I'm looking at my device here. I'll just bring it up on the screen, and this isn't a good example here because I only have. Let's see. Let me bring this up here. This is my device at the moment. I have a 512 gig iPad Pro, and 448 gig is used. But see, at least I have over 10 gig free there, just over. But you can see here in offload unused apps, I have 22 gigabytes of stuff I can just offload at any time. We all have, most of us have internet that is on tap, you know, unlimited internet. So it's no problem to just offload something if you're doing a big project and then just bring it back.
Download them later.
It's not a big thing. Like, you know, I know in the old days you used to have to keep all this stuff on your phone, but you know, we keep a whole lot of unnecessary apps on our phones that we never use, ever. And I used to be guilty of that big time. But recently on my iPhone, I've just started dumping stuff I'm not using and just bring it back when you need it. So, and the other thing both me and Pete always say, at least once a month, delete your Facebook app and your YouTube app from your device and then reinstall it, because it caches a whole bunch of stuff. And you'll scroll down and look at your Facebook app and it's taking up 1 gigabyte of space for some reason. Same with YouTube. If you just delete it and then reinstall it, you'll notice you'll probably get 1 gigabyte back, which will help with optimizing performance. So, fantastic tips, Pinaki Deb. It's really, I'm glad we touched on that today, because it's something.
I will give one more tip.
Tip away, my friend. Tip forever, please.
So it's one thing that I have learned, and maybe not for a particular my genre of music, it helps. Once you have the final merge track, you call it the master track or you call it the merge track. Once you have the final file which you are going to import for mastering onto Final Touch or any other app, add another duplicate track, copy the same track, paste it on the other track, make 2 tracks on the same file, then import it. So you might ask me, what help will it do? So on the merged track, the volume is set as 0. If you increase the volume, it will clip. So if it goes to Final Touch for mastering, there will be some compressions you need to do, you need to apply. And you want to increase the volume. but you cannot increase the volume. If you increase the bass, if you increase the treble, it will clip. It will clip, definitely will clip. That single track will not be able to handle any more changes because it has been optimized.
Yep.
So if you apply a little bit of change into that track to make it sound better on the GarageBand itself, it will clip, and your entire attempt to normalize will actually fail. So what you do is add another track, another empty track, or duplicate the track, copy the track, paste it, make two lines of it. Both of them are at 0 dBs, but at the same master volume, it will sound larger, much more deep and broader. Import that to the mastering app, whichever app you are using. You will see that they are clipping. They are clipping again, but your sound is already much more deep and broader. Just decrease the input volume. You will see that once you apply the brickwater limiter or whatever limiter you're applying, it will reach the limit point with a much more deep sound. The depth of the sound will be very rich when you have two tracks. I've tried with three tracks, I've tried with four tracks, but my conclusion is two tracks are enough. Three tracks and four tracks, the dynamics will go away. You will not feel the dynamics anymore. With two tracks, you will be able to maintain the dynamic range of the track and also get the loudness at a proper level. So I'm still learning, I'm still trying. I think right now my loudness level is quite acceptable. They're at the range of 12 and 14, what Spotify accepts. On iTunes, I think the loudness level is quite good. On Spotify, a little bit of more loudness is needed, but I am only maintaining the dynamic range of the track. I'm not trying to make it louder. So this double line track, it helps a lot to make the sound, the audio quality much more bassier, much more rich. So people can try this.
Russ 8889, who's in the chat and delivering many smart ass comments as he usually does, says that he just when he runs out of space, he just buys a new iPad. What a typical comment from Russ. I love you, Russ. I just want to say hello to Synth Widow Joe, who's joined the chat. Who else has joined? I saw Doug come in here as well. Hello, Doug. Rock Hard Music. A few people have joined us here in the chat, extra people. So welcome aboard. Fantastic points you have made there for creating music. And you have, like, your music has changed so much. From the first time I remember hearing your music, you have got so much more depth across all your music now. And I remember your album, I mean, you've got a space concept album out as well. But before I get into that, what is your typical process for creating a new track in GarageBand? Where do you start to create a new song?
So any fine morning when I'm free from my work, I wake up. I think morning is the best time to make music. It's the best time. I think my ears are very fresh. The hearing capacity is at full. So after a good night's sleep, I wake up. I put my earphones on. I listen to the tracks I made the earlier day. As you advised, I give a lot of rest to the ears now. Earlier, I was stressing the ears. Now I'm listening properly. I'm hearing better. So now what I do is any fine morning when I wake up and I don't have any other household chores to do, so I sit with my iPad, I open the keyboard, the piano, the grand piano, and I start playing it. So just putting my moods out, setting a tempo like that. And if I have some harmonies, I'm thinking in my mind, I put them on the keyboard. I make a small memo of it, and I start building on top of that, adding other instruments. And sometimes, like some of my tracks, they didn't come randomly. they came through vocals. Like I was having a thought in my mind, and I was thinking of a dialogue between two people, or maybe between two lovers, and that struck me. And I was thinking of putting that line of thought into a rhythm, and that's how the harmony came into to me, and I started playing. I played it on my iPad. I recorded it because I do not know the music theory. I do not know how the notations are written. So whenever I have any concept or any idea in my mind, I put it down right away on my GB. I make a track. I put it down. So if I have some incomplete vocals with a tune, I sing it and I put it down. I come back to it later when I'm free and start working on it. So this is how I usually build my tracks, and I try to complete one track each month. But the good ones, they take a lot of time, because if I am rushing one track, I'm trying to finish it faster, it doesn't get better. It gets worse actually. So my ears say it's fine, but after a couple of days when I come back to it, they say no, it could have been better. So I would suggest that not to rush. 1 month is the target to finish a track, but it's not a compulsion. So it's your track. You have the freedom. So like one track, it takes around 3 months, 4 months, even more than that, to come to its right capacity. So like my rules was recorded almost 3 to 4 months back, and it underwent a lot of modifications, a lot of tuning, and then the final track came out, and yet I'm still not satisfied with its quality.
So I'm just going to bring up, just before we go on, like I'm going to talk about your albums here. I've just seen Brad examples written here in the chat. These are all great tips. Somehow, for some reason, last night I lost all of the songs I was working on. My recents is empty, and I don't know where it all went, and I'm sad. So first I'm going to ask, I just want to ask, have you tried doing a forced reboot of your device? Sometimes there are issues. Like I had this the other day where my iCloud just totally disappeared. All my files in iFile were gone, and I just did a forced reboot, and it came back on, and everything was there. So that's the first place I will always go to. So I'm just wondering if he has tried that, and if anyone else has any tips in the chat to maybe help out Brad. Let's get over to your albums here. I'm going to bring up this screen here because you've got a lot of them, and so your first album you dropped is 2019, yeah? Is that Bloodline? Bloodline is your first album.
Yeah. Yes.
And I want to talk about your second album. I know I'm skipping over your first album, but I want to talk about your second album because I know a lot of people. We when you dropped it in the GarageBand users group, we were all kind of jumping out of our skin, going, "This is really cool." So this is Cosmic Flight, and this is a whole album pretty much based on. Tell us about it. It's a concept album about space flight.
Yeah, this was an experimental concept album. I had some. I was actually the beginning. This is the second album, so I was not too much into GarageBand at that time. Like I was just exploring, and I was checking out the synths, and I was happy to discover that a lot of ambient sounds were there inside. You can make a lot of ambient sounds, really cool sounds. So I thought, why not put an album out there which will sound like a space journey? So I started composing tracks one after the another in a sequence that will follow a storyline, and that's how the album concept was materialized. So it starts with a track called this Lunar Passage. Now the concept is very clear. A group of people, they are starting an interstellar journey, and they're going to a moon it's a moon, maybe it's a planet, which is called Aries. So they are trying to reach Aries through a predetermined path, and in the beginning of the journey, they are crossing the moon, and that is the lunar passage. And after crossing the moon, they cross Mars. That's approaching Mars, and then Red Earth is the Mars. Actually, the track dedicated to Mars. Then Marduk is Jupiter. Then they cross Titan, which is a moon of Saturn, and that the lakes of Titan are very famous. So the track is Lakes of Titan, and like that, finally they reach Aries. And I plan to include a lot of interludes in between, but I could not do so because of I was running short of time. So I thought, let's finish the album with 8 tracks and give it to the people to listen to it, how they like it. So it was basically a rushed album, which usually I do not prefer, but the sounds were quite good, and I was very tempted to release them at the earliest. I used to think that if I take too much of time, this music will be out of time. Then maybe people would not accept it. So that's why I released it at that time, and I do not regret it. It was well accepted in the group. A lot of people appreciated it, especially the tracks, the Lakes of Titan, Marduk. All these tracks were really good, and the most important thing is that the album picked up pace as it approached towards the end. So the tracks initially they were slower, then the tracks were faster, as if it gives a feel of that they are picking up their speed in their journey. It's a cool album, and I really like the sounds till date. At that time, I was not mastering at all. I didn't know how to master, but the sounds came out really, really good.
And so from then you've started to move more into, so over the last few releases you've been collaborating with singers and stuff, yeah? And how's that going? How's the collaboration process been? How's adding an extra member to your music been?
Yeah, it's really a very good thing to do, and if your collaborating artist is very compatible with you, then it's a cherry on the top. And right now, I'm very comfortably doing tracks with Martina. We have already recorded 3 tracks now, of whom 2 have been released. One is in the pipeline. The track is ready and will be released sometime mid-year. And I'm also trying to collaborate with a few other artists. I'm not going to disclose now, but let's see.
Keep your secrets close to you. All right, so as you can see, folks, there's a link up the top there in the chat for those here in the chat, and also in the description there's links to Pinaki's website. All of his music's up the top there in the description. There is a link to I think it is a, what is it? I haven't even checked. Let me click on it myself. So it's a Song Whip link, so you can go and check out all of his music there. I want to know because what have you got? 1, 2, 3, 5 albums, and 1, 2, 3, 7 singles. So I mean, since 2019, you have produced a damn lot of music, and I think that's incredible. Like I wish I had the ability to get out that much stuff. I mean, how do you, like, is it still exciting releasing music? I know you get really into, because it's where I'm going to, all right, so I'll incorporate all this in together. So I think what I really love about your packaging and your whole marketing of who you are as Pinaki Deb is really fantastic. For those of you who are not on Pinaki's Facebook or his page there, he creates all these little videos, and his whole packaging is really cool. You can tell he puts a lot of work into putting everything together. Is it still exciting releasing stuff? Do you still get that buzz on the day of release? Because I know you pre-release this stuff.
Absolutely. I get very pissed off with Spotify because they never follow the timeline. Yep. And rest of the streaming platforms are better than that in terms of putting the music out there. Spotify has a lot of protocols and all these things. It's just making things complicated. They don't pay you that much, and they make a lot of fuzzy promises, and it's a shitty place to upload music. But you can't help because the entire population is there. So
You hear that, Spotify? F you.
what can I say?
F you.
No, I'm going on public with this.
No, they deserve it. No, well, I'm interested to take on your opinion because look, we release music through. I know you're the same as me. You release through DistroKid, and the main thing that they give us as a here's our song. It's coming out, but they only give you Spotify, which I find extremely ignorant. I don't know why. I really wish DistroKid would make some deal with Apple Music as well, because it's interesting. A lot of us make our music on iOS, and here we are unable to.
I believe DistroKid gets a very good cut from Spotify, and so that's why this is politics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm not a fan of Spotify myself. I don't even pay for it. I find it, I don't know, yuck to move around there. I don't like the whole, I just don't, I'm not into it. I don't know why. I can't get into it. I like Apple because it's all integrated into my device. I make music on it. It makes sense. But that's, if you...
Actually, I will just interrupt. No. Sorry. Apple is one of the finest apps to listen to music because their adaptive suggestions are very good. I have discovered most of my favorite artists on Apple. They read your mind. It reads your mind completely.
It's a bit creepy.
But Spotify is the one where you can market yourself. That is the only advantage they give you. So every Spotify endorser, they say that Spotify is like a social media. You treat it like a social media page and it will just behave like one. So it's a marketing tool. It's not a music streaming app. It's basically a marketing tool. And people are rushing on that page just like a TikTok app. So it's where they say it's where the money is, but it's a herd. So that's why people are focusing on Spotify. These aggregators are getting paid from them. I think they are heavily compensated by Spotify. Even the artists are getting a very lower cut. A lot of things are there which needs to be addressed, but might not get addressed ever. This is how they will rule the industry.
Yeah, it's really interesting because of the whole playlist thing. It kind of turns Spotify into this whole play-for-play kind of thing, and a lot of people don't know how to get their music onto a playlist. I think what's really cool that the one thing DistroKid have done is added these features to try and help get you onto a playlist. Because it feels like some big secret, doesn't it? It feels like the old way the music industry used to be. How do I get my music onto a producer's table? That's what these playlists are like, And then, which playlist do I get it on? Who are these influencers? Where I find the difference with Apple Music, I've had my music played on Apple One 3 times. And I didn't even promote it or anything, and I got a little bit of money for that, and it was so cool. Like hearing my music being played on Apple One, I felt like I'd made it. like that's a really big radio station, and I didn't have to buy votes or anything.
So the music was appreciated for what it is, actually.
Yeah, Apple love music. It's very clear. Spotify love.
Apple loves music.
Promotion.
Yeah. Spotify loves business.
Yeah, you made a really good comparison there with TikTok. It does remind me of something like TikTok, definitely. And TikTok to me is like for those young people. Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. I don't get it. All right, so let's jump into some of your favorite kind of apps. I'll bring up my screen here. You want to throw at me some of the apps that you use to make music that without you wouldn't be able to make the high quality music that you make?
So the very first one is obviously GarageBand.
And there it is on the screen. If it should be there, it is. And if you don't know GarageBand, what the hell are you doing? I think we've already talked about why you love GarageBand. So I mean, you're mental if you don't use it. It's free.
It's free. No, actually, it's not free. It's not free basically. I have made myself clear before also. For GarageBand, you need to buy an Apple product. True. And Apple products don't come cheap.
But can't I get it on Android?
That's a stupid question.
What about Windows? Can I get it on Windows, Pinaki? Can I get it on my Windows phone? What about my my Nokia Flip? I want to get it on my Nokia Flip.
There are a lot of beat making apps out there right now. People who are using Android phones, they can use those apps. Really good apps are there. But those who say that GarageBand is not for professionals, I think I don't have any words for them.
Can I speak for you?
Yes, sure.
You're a dickhead. There you go. So what else have you got in your magical bag of apps there?
So the next one is very important. AudioKit Synth 1.
AudioKit. Oh, God, I can't even spell today.
Synth 1.
I do have Synth 1. There it is. Synth 1. There we are.
Second one.
Got it.
Yeah. Superb app.
What is it about this app that does it for you?
On the fourth page of any arpeggiator, there is a programmer. So if you
I'm just going through the photos on there. Ah, here. Ah, yeah, there. Yep. Yeah, they make beautiful apps, don't they, AudioKit?
running smoothly, it will synchronize.
Yeah, and the great thing about AudioKit's apps is they I'm pretty sure they run on an open source, so a lot of other developers can use the source code of AudioKit's apps, and there's been heaps of other apps made around the source code of these apps, so that's what makes them absolutely stand out. And Bubba has just written that as well. Great minds think alike, my friend Bubba. Yeah. Highly recommended, like most all AudioKit apps. I don't own all of them, unfortunately, because I can't own everything. What else have you got there, Pinaki?
iMovie.
It's I just I'll say about this. I just updated all my devices finally, because I had some devices on iOS 13.7 and some on iOS 14. Only because I was too scared to actually update everything. because I didn't want to lose the ability to run some apps. And last week I finally updated this iPad Pro and my main iPhone, and what came up on here in the App Store was iMovie's been updated, and I got all excited going, oh my God, there's an update, it's brand new. And I was just about to post on GarageBand users group, and then I realized this is an update from months ago when iOS 14 came out. So you still use iMovie? Do you use any other? Do you use any other? Like I say, still, this has come a long way since the old days.
I use Filmic Pro. It's a paid app. I use it for one video, which I made almost 2 years back. It's a good app, but later on I offloaded it. But iMovie is my go-to app for making my music videos. It's very simple, easy to use, and very reliable also.
Yeah, definitely. I really wish they would add multiple layers. I wish we could have at least 3 tracks on it. That would make it perfect.
No, you can do that. You can add one layer now. Okay. On top of the actual the main layer, save the video, make a new file, import it back to this, add another layer on top of that. That's how I do multiple layers.
Yeah. If they made it a little bit easier,
it takes time.
Do it all in one, that would be perfect.
That would have been better. So Filmic Pro allows that.
What else have you got there?
I would mention a plugin, Shimmer Effects.
Shimmer Effects. Let's see if I can find it that way. Is that it? From 4 Pockets. Yeah, it's a good plugin. This plugin.
Nice one.
What's so good about it?
The presets are good. I only use the presets. I do not touch the controllers. They are very risky to be used because it applies a lot of compression. But if you use it for a track which has a very low input volume, it will handle it properly. But if it's already a very high volume track, then Shimmer will make more crazy sounds, which will ultimately suppress the actual the most important tracks of the song.
Yeah, I found that using it as well too. It does have very heavy compression on it, so it's something that you have to use kind of sparingly.
Very subtle. You need to apply it on a very subtle level.
Yeah, or what happens I find is that it can bury the track that you're working on deeply into the mix if you overuse it. Yeah, definitely. But still, it does some amazing things. I've used it on vocals, and I like using things on vocals when you're not supposed to. I don't know. I just love creating crazy things with vocals. What else?
And I also use Audio Share on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's the go-to app. I mean, we say it so often on this show.
Yeah.
If you don't own this.
Yeah. It's the most used app for me after GB.
Because it just does so much, doesn't it? I mean, you can transfer files between a computer, and here you can...
It looks very simple.
Yeah.
It looks very simple. One might not notice that what are its actual features from top. But if you dig in, then you will find that it can do a lot.
Yeah, like...
You can convert, you can import, you can play, you can do anything.
I forget some of the things that's in it, like the audio recorder. Like a few weeks ago, Pete and my music was played on the radio here in Australia, and I know Pete was busy, and I just grabbed my iPhone, had the radio station playing on my phone, opened up Audio Share, hit the recorder, hit record, and it was recording the radio program from my other app. It was just like, this is perfect. And then I sent it to Pete going, you missed out, dude, you're on the radio. So cool, and you just don't think it has so many fantastic, and there's the audio recorder right there. So and you can even add in this audio recorder, you can actually add AUV3 plugins in there as well too.
AUV3 plugins,
unbelievable. So really, I mean, there's a lot you can do with this app. It really is And I think it's $4.
Nothing compared to what
Yeah,
it does.
definitely worth it. What else?
Worth it. Final Touch.
What was that? Of course.
Final Touch.
Final Touch.
The mastering app.
I've done some shows on this. Pete just did a show today on Final Touch. Well, on a bunch of mastering apps. And it's your one-stop go for mastering. I mean...
Yeah.
And you...
It's a nice app. It's paid. It's not free, but it's worth it. I do not use the stereo imaging though, but the rest of the features I'm using completely. So it's a very nice app.
One thing is it definitely needs an update. Because it hasn't been updated since 2 years ago.
Yes, the interface is very old.
And iOS 14 and I really wish Positive Grid would get their bums into gear and finally update this app because it seriously needs an update. But it's still working fine, so don't let that scare you.
Yes. It's completely sufficient.
Sufficient, yes. Look, I love it. I've started using the Lucent. Bubba's just written in the chat here. I've fallen in love with the Lucent mastering app. I've started using that too. I probably wouldn't if I didn't have it fully unlocked and they gave me a copy. So because I couldn't afford $259 to unlock it. But it is incredible. It does do some pretty amazing, and it's pretty much one touch. So yeah, it's amazing. But is it worth $259? I don't know. We shall see. Anything else you have there?
And one of the apps suggested by you, Over.
I'm so glad.
Beautiful app. Beautiful app.
It's like a hidden gem sitting on the App Store that no one knows about.
It's a hidden gem. Yeah.
You
can do so much with it.
It has such a dumb name, I think. No, is it Over? Like it just doesn't even
get over with it.
Yeah, and the one thing too. So I use GoDaddy for my website, and recently Over was just purchased by GoDaddy. So now it actually integrates into GoDaddy, and I don't know if you know this, Pinaki. You can actually use Over on a computer as well. So you can't download a program yet, but they have a web browser that virtually does the same thing.
Web browser.
So yeah, Over's just incredible. I love it so much. I use it every single day. And do you use it for your album covers? What do you use it for?
Yeah, for the covers, for the promotional videos on Instagram stories and Facebook stories. I use it a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely geared for those social networking.
Exactly. I also use it to make the PNG files for the video titles, the starting introduction, those names I mentioned on the videos. Those are all PNG files made in the Over.
Yeah, and I think I'll just open it up for a second. One of the really cool things about it is when you create a new project and hit plus, create a new project. Along the bottom here, let me just go full screen so people can see. There we go. You can scroll along the bottom and you've got all these little, so here you've got Pinterest, Twitter, so it actually specifically gives you a Twitter cover, YouTube channel cover, thumbnail size. It gives you all these preset sizes for Facebook. So at the start you've got Facebook, Instagram. That's really cool. That just takes so much ease away, because in the old days you'd have to go and do a Google search and search for how big is a YouTube cover page or anything like that.
Exactly. This perfectly fits in.
Do you have anything else?
One more. The last one is Zero Reverb.
No, I think I've got this. Zero.
I use this one a lot.
Yeah, this is amazing app.
Very simple, but very effective.
That's basically the screen you get, and you've got a delay, mix, dampening, and a crossover, and your times. It's very basic, very simple to use, and yeah, you get really good results with it.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much for sharing all of those apps with us.
Most welcome.
I'm going to wrap up now because, but I'll keep you here for this while we've got this screen up here because we've got a giveaway to go through. So hopefully you'll hang for this, and then we'll finish out with a final question and some music of yours. Let me just, and hit your website, by the way. So remember, folks, pinakideb.com, and you can head over to Pinaki's website. But I'm now going to open up this random number generator because we've got some copies of an app to give away. I know some people are waiting for that. And we had a record amount of people enter for this. Let me just grab this up here. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Come on. I can't even get this happening today. I'll try that again. Oh, dude, what is happening? We'll give it one more go. Grab. There we go. Happening. So we have, holy crap, look at that. 39 people entered for this Bleass giveaway. That's a lot of people. So I've only got 2 of these apps to give away. So I can't even fit you all on the screen here, folks, because there's 39 of you who have entered. Thanks for supporting the channel and entering. So we've got to go in here, make sure it's 39, and add 39 to this. We're all good. Cool. So good luck, folks. I've only got 2 of them to give away.
Good luck.
So this is for the Bleass. What is it for? I can't remember. For the Granulizer. God, I give away way too many apps on this show. For the Bleass Granulizer. So let's generate and see what we get. 2 winners. Number 35 is the first one, which is congratulations, Mick. So that's Mick Turner. I'll shoot you a message on the actual post after the show. And the last winner of this app is number 29, which is Lou Becker.
Oh, congratulations.
Make sure that's right. 29. Cool. So we can flick that off. Competition stuff's done for now. Congratulations. Well done. It's a sick app. We'll have some more giveaways coming up. Got a couple of giveaways for the next week coming up also. And I'm going to hit you with the final question of the day as soon as I get back over here to the screen. Hello. There we are. And it's one I ask every week. And it's a pretty... It's pretty hard to F up this question. So, Pinaki Deb, when is the best time for somebody, in your opinion, to start creating music?
Best time of the life.
Best time of the life.
Or best time of the day.
Just when is the best time to start creating? For you, I guess you said it was morning. But, I mean, you know, for people who are sitting there tossing up whether to make music, when should they get off their backside and make music?
I think on a Sunday morning.
'Cause it's easy like a Sunday morning. I love it. Because normally everybody gives a deep philosophical answer, but no, Pinaki's decided this time to go completely and give us Sunday morning is the best time, folks. And trust me, Sunday morning is the best time. Okay. I'll cue up this track we're going to play now. And while I'm doing that, what did we decide on? We decided on something about you? Yeah, I think so. So I'll bring that track up here and make sure it doesn't start auto-playing. So I just want to thank you so much, Pinaki, for coming onto the show today. I know it's been...
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a long time waiting. I've actually wanted to have you on when I first started the show, but things kind of got a bit out of hand, and I'm kind of happier now that you've come on later when the show's more established. And just to see your music grow over these years has been an absolute pleasure to watch. everybody, please do yourself a favor. Go and stream, download, buy Pinaki's music. Please support these independent artists we have on between like artists like Jordan Rudess and all that, because people like Pinaki, they're putting out fantastic music that needs to be heard. So please click on the links, go support him. Thank you very much for being up at 2:30 in the morning and spending an hour and a half with us. And anything you'd like to say to anybody before we give you the floor, before we close the show with your music?
I would just like to express my gratitude to the GBU group, because this group has been so much more than just a group. It has been like a family, and we speak of families in different aspects of our life, but to me this online community has been nothing short of than a physical family. So it is physically present, and I wish that we all keep it together like it, and it's a sanctuary for people like us, artists like us, philosophers like us. We are philosophers indeed, so as we are creative, we are making, we are doing something that is extraordinary. And this place, this community has given us so much space and so much hopes and so much strength that I cannot express with any more words. So I would say that big thumbs up to this group, and let's keep it together the same way for generations to come.
Awesome. Thank you very much. As we say here on the channel, we're all warts because we all rise together. And
you all rise
straight. So because words can't express it anymore, we are going to go out today with a track from Pinaki Deb's from Pinaki Deb called Something About You. This is the official music video. So adios, and we'll say goodbye for now, and stick around folks and enjoy this awesome track. And we'll see you probably back on this show on Saturday for those in the rest of the world, Sunday for those in Australia, and those on my Patreon. I'll see you tomorrow. We're doing a couple of shows there as well. So this is Pinaki Deb, Something About You. Adios, my friends. Bye-bye.
I'm swinging around, I'm holding you tight, yeah. Feels like I'm having a bad dream. I woke up this morning with a shivering cold feet. All this in my heart, I have you. This morning I had coffee with chocolate chips. Haven't gone out in a long time. Since you left, I was tired of hiding in your shadow. Now I'm running for my time. All I had to do was to let you go. And I did it. You know why? you are not in my